Hi everyone, welcome back to Faewood Mead, or welcome to Faewood Mead if you're new here. This mead really was created because I had a lot of these things in my freezer and they sounded like they would go well together. So I suppose primarily either if you live on the East Coast of the United States or someplace in Europe or Asia where they have mulberry trees available, then this recipe may pique your interest. Unfortunately, mulberries aren't really something that you can just buy fresh from the grocery store. It's just the nature of the berry. They have tiny stems that are very difficult to remove except by hand. Because they're so labor intensive and there's not like a machine that can harvest these berries and remove the stems. You can't find it in the grocery stores, at least not in America. Nor can you really find anything else mulberry related, I don't think. Maybe there's a jam or something online that you could use if someone's making homemade jams. Then that may be a sort of replacement instead of just using the fresh berries. So continue watching this video if you want to see how I made this mead. It's nice and quick. I like this format. And then at the end, we're gonna do a little tasting. A couple of years ago, I picked all these mulberries and shoved them in this dark cherry bag. So do not be fooled. I added 1/8 teaspoon of pectic enzyme, allowed to sit for a couple of hours, and then I added honey and allowed it to sit overnight. Not really thinking this through here, I did mash all of the mulberries and I strained them, so I did kind of waste some honey here. Thinking back, I would not macerate on honey overnight if I weren't planning on using the full mashed fruit in primary. So I did end up adding more orange blossom honey here, just in case, and my blackberry juice. I did rehydrate my yeasties with some Go Firm. They help build up those cell walls and ensure better yeast health during fermentation. I also added Opti White for mouthfeel and oxidation, as well as Rouge Tannin for kind of similar things, actually. And I fermented this with K1V1116, which is known to be really good with dark fruits. You definitely want to add as much oxygen as you can before primary fermentation. It helps give your yeast the oxygen boost they need so they can convert all that sugar into alcohol. Took my gravity and it was about 1.094. So for once in one of my videos, I do actually show you the nutrient additions and what your mead kind of looks like the day after you start fermenting. When you add that first addition, you want to be really careful when you kind of shake around your mead because it's very easy for all those yeasts to kind of explode and then you have a foamy fountain. After fermentation, I racked and stabilized this mead with a Camden tablet and potassium sorbate. Pretty easy to use here. You just add 1/2 teaspoon of potassium sorbate and you crush a whole Camden tablet per gallon of mead. At about 24 hours later, you can add your honey. So I added some Dutch clover as well as a vanilla bean. You want to be sure to split those little babies in half. If you want to fully extract those vanilla beans, you need to allow them to sit for 3 months. I allowed this to sit for about 4 before I bottled. All right, here we are. One of the best parts, the tasting. I bottled this 2 months ago now. Ended dry to semi-sweet. I have been leaning more towards the sweeter side, and so I kind of wanted to back off of that a little bit because, you know, different people have different palates, and sometimes the super sweet is a little overwhelming to some people, or at least I should rephrase that. To me, it's not super sweet, but to them, it may be. And this is 12.3%. Bottle check, sounds great. Darn it. I'm beginning a little bit better with my pouring. Not sure, you probably can't really see this, but it is nice and clear. Very nice and clear, beautiful sort of rusty red, rusty ruby garnet, like a garnet type color. It smells very nice. I mean, you get mulberries and blackberries, which is exactly what you want. There's not like a heavy alcohol, perception of alcohol, I should say, in the aroma. That's pretty good. It does have like a, I think that's a blackberry. I haven't used this concentrate a lot yet, and the first time I used it was with the elderberry boucher, I think. It was like elderberry blackberry, and it was too heavy, like way too heavy. So I couldn't really pull the blackberry flavor necessarily. You definitely get it in this. And the mulberry and the blackberry do couple up very well together. So you hit with blackberry, mulberry follows up. There's a good tannic quality. There's a good amount of tannin in here. It's not like super grippy, but it's pretty grippy. The acid, sharpy, acidy tartness kind of balances that decently. I don't know if this is fully balanced. I probably could have added a bit more sweetness to it, really, to balance it a little bit better than it is, but I was trying to stay on the lighter side sweetness-wise, sort of like a red wine kind of vibe, where you get the other two qualities, but it can be like a little bit drier. I think that's kind of how this vibes. It's a little bit of like a red wine-ish. You know what I mean? I actually like it though. I think the more I drink it and the more it opens up, the more like a red wine it is. Like, this is actually like kind of a decent table wine. I feel like you could drink this with a lot of different things. Like if you're having, I don't know, steak and potatoes or something for dinner, this would pair really nicely with it because it's not very sweet. The fruit is very pronounced, which is obviously really good. You want to pull the fruit flavor. The honey is kind of subdued, I would say. Now, if you were to replace the honey with sugar, I don't know what the difference would be. I've actually never used sugar. That would make it a country wine. I know honey is a more expensive form of sugar by a good amount. And so if you were wanting to make something that is more cost efficient, you could use table sugar and then you could just harvest mulberries and blackberries if you have those capabilities, obviously, but that could potentially make this a very inexpensive, tasty drink. I don't know. Not bad at all, I say. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. All of those things really help my channel. I'm still growing, obviously. I think I would consider myself a channel that's on the smaller side, but like a decent size for our little niche. I really appreciate you all being here. Watching helps immensely. So, thank you so much. I'll see you all next time. Bye.